Hey guys, this is Tom from China Devices. Now, there's a lot of buzz going on around this whole Huawei topic, and I also wanted to share my thoughts about the topic with you guys. So, Donald Trump, the US president, has effectively banned Chinese telecommunications firms from doing business with American companies. And this is going to impact both the nations and the global tech industry. Huawei has been added to the so-called entity list from Friday, and this prevents it from buying parts or technology from US suppliers without government approval, as this equipment is considered potential tools for Chinese espionage. ZTE was also previously added to the entity list, and the manufacturer suffered greatly as a result, as it was forced to halt sales of many phones. But ZTE doesn't make its own chipsets and components. Huawei has its own chip company called HiSilicon, and they said it has long been prepared for this eventuality. Even though Huawei has their own chipset facility and HiSilicon produces chipsets and modems for many Huawei phones, including all of its flagships and mid-range models, this still makes use of chipsets from other US companies on some lower-end phones and all of its laptops. I'm personally also using a Huawei MateBook X Pro with an Intel i7 processor, and the new Huawei MateBooks are also around the corner. So you can imagine that Intel would stop working together with Huawei, could have a big impact on them super fast, and the growth of their notebook business could have a great impact as well. Besides Intel, also Qualcomm is working on the very powerful Snapdragon chipset for laptops, but they are based in the US as well, so that's also no option for Huawei. Besides hardware, this ban also affects the software side. In order to comply with the law, Google had to take away Huawei's license. In 2009, Huawei joined the Open Handset Alliance. As part of its efforts was to promote a unified Android platform. OHA members are contractually forbidden from producing devices that are based on incompatible forks of Android. But now, with the ban, this has changed. There has been rumors about a Huawei OS earlier, around the release of the Huawei MateBook X. But back at this time, Huawei insisted to cooperate with Microsoft only. I think even back at that time, Huawei also knew that this ban may come one day. And this was also the time where Huawei started to really push the cloud service and build a big ecosystem around the products. Huawei, which is the world's second largest smartphone vendor today based on their shipments, said it will continue to develop a safe software ecosystem for its customers around the globe. But Huawei also extended the support to their Honor brand. Until this OS is ready to deploy, Huawei could rely on AOSP, whereas AOSP stands for Android Open Source Project. It's the open source version of Android. It comes stripped out of all Google mobile services, which is the Google suite for Google Play Store, Gmail and YouTube. But this is just needed as an alternative until Huawei has released their own OS, which they have built in the case of an emergency situation. Also, this is only a problem for new Huawei released devices like the new Mate series, because smartphones available right now like the P30 series will receive all updates as Google said. It looks like Huawei has prepared the software for this event, and this has also been shown by the big efforts in the last years of building their own Huawei cloud services. In addition to Android, the US government's move has seen Intel, Qualcomm, Xilinx and Broadcom reportedly pause supplying chips to Huawei until a resolution has been reached. But this ban also has negative impacts for the US. Apple, Intel and Qualcomm business could be impacted in the future from China, as they are both US companies However, Chinese smartphone vendors also rely on Qualcomm's chipset, and if China bans or increase the tax on Qualcomm, it also won't be good for Chinese companies. So, banning Huawei from buying components or software from US companies would surely also impact Huawei's global business, thus impact the overall industry as well. Huawei is buying now more than 11 billion in goods and services from US companies each year, and also for the P30 series they bought enough materials to fit the demand. But right now, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But we do know one thing for sure, it will also make the US suppliers suffer. So what makes the whole situation really weird is, if we look at the 5G topic, now that Huawei is out of the game, there are only two other suppliers, and these are Ericsson and Nokia, and both of them, which are American companies, have suppliers from China, namely HMD Global and Foxconn in China, but they are not considered by the ban. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. However, the relationship between Huawei and countries in Europe is quite stable, but there's a possibility that in the future more countries could join the US suit. Australia has also banned Huawei's 5G equipment, but at this stage, I don't know for sure that any major European country would ban Huawei, as its 5G solutions are cheaper and more competitive to other players on the market. All in all, it's a big mess for the whole tech and mobile industry, and it's sad to see that politics can slow down the innovation and technological growth all around the globe. But what I think is that now it's a good opportunity to grab some really cheap bargain Huawei devices, because a lot of guys also on YouTube are crying out loud to sell your Huawei devices, and this will maybe result in a big sellout, which is also an opportunity because I consider this situation just temporary, not like a permanent situation. So grab your Huawei bargain now, because they are still one of the best phones available on the market right now. So see you guys.